Welcome back to the Two Boos podcast. Today is a special one. It is WrestleMania season. And you know what that means? That means that I will be joined by a very special guest to talk WrestleMania 41. We're going to break down the match card. We're going to give our predictions. We're going to give our insights. But before we do all that, let me go ahead and introduce my guest. He's been on here before. I love him. He's a very special person. He's the one that's gotten me into wrestling. He's a wrestling expert. He's a collector of wrestling action figures, toys, memorabilia, all the good stuff. And that is none other than my cousin, John. Welcome to the show.
Hey, cuz, thank you for having me as always, man. Another exciting season. I can't wait. Showcase the Immortals happens to be on my birthday weekend.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we'll be watching the main event with John Cena and Cody Rhodes on the day my birthday is. So I am super excited.
Yes, yes. Let's talk about, first of all, WrestleMania 40, because we had the pleasure of actually seeing that in person. So we got to enjoy that. And as I
Right.
was thinking about that WrestleMania, I was like, it's impressive to me how every year when these WrestleManias come out, they're able to at least get close, if not top, the previous year. And we know that WrestleMania 40, the main event, ended on a huge, huge note. It was a crazy, crazy ending. So I am just curious as we go through this if they can match up and be able to hit on the same levels that they did last year, because that was an amazing show. If you wanted to give a quick, just kind of your quick thoughts on what you thought about WrestleMania 40 overall.
I mean, besides the cold weather,
Oh
it
yeah.
was it was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, it was the first and only WrestleMania I've ever been to, on top of the fact that I got to experience it not only with you and your lovely wife, but also my dad who got me into wrestling way back. So it was an amazing experience. With that alone, unfortunately, it was in Lincoln Financial Field. I hate the Eagles. But
Yeah.
besides that, it was everything I can possibly imagine. I mean, the hypeness, the matches were amazing. Was so much going on. All the storylines going in was freaking cool. The only thing I was kind of upset about was the Jimmy and Jey Uso match. I thought that was going to
Yes.
be a little more um how do I say, exciting. But besides that, and then obviously, as you said, the ending was, I mean, the only thing that could have made that better was the fact Stone Cold being there, which we all know that was something they were trying to do, but they just couldn't make it happen. I think that would have really brought my childhood to life right in front of me, a moment where I could see Austin and The Rock, like, go face to face and look at each other, and then the ultimate, stunner and sell job from The Rock. The nostalgia in that alone was just would have been crazy. But besides that, it was an exciting ending. It just brought everything together. Like I said, for my first WrestleMania, it just hit everything on the money for me. So I definitely have no complaints, and the experience itself was absolutely amazing. So I have no complaints.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. It was a memorable show, but then also just a memorable overall experience just for us personally to be there. There's the element of WrestleMania itself and all those memorable moments, but then there's the moments that we make with each other, like being at the show together, and I'll never forget that. But that being said,
Right.
it's always fun every year to be able to get together and sit down and watch WrestleMania, which you and I will definitely be doing together again this year. So
Yep.
without further ado, we've teased it enough. Let's go ahead and jump into the card for WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. We finally actually got the official like lineup of matches actually fairly recently, which I feel like it was a little bit later than they've done in the past, and maybe that's just because they've been kind of working things out. So let's jump right into night one. What I'm going to do is just kind of go down the full list of matches, and then we'll uh, go through each match individually and
Right.
just kind of give our
Right.
predictions and what we think. And this is in no particular order. We do know what the main events are going to be for each night, but we don't exactly know the order of the other matches. So starting off on this list, we have Jey Uso versus Gunter for the World Heavyweight Championship. We have Jade Cargill versus Naomi. The War Raiders versus the New Day for the Tag Team Championships. Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. He gets his
Yes.
big debut on WrestleMania, which is
Yes.
crazy for
Yes.
such a guy that's
Best
so new to
the
have
best
such a
luchador in the world.
right. And then we have, for the women's championship, we have Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. And then for the main event, our triple threat match, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. So I know we want to get right to that match because there's a lot going on there, but we'll tease a little bit more. And let's start with the Jade Cargill and Naomi matchup. What are some of your thoughts?
Initially, I was not too excited about it because I think, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one alone on this one. I think I was looking forward to Bianca and Jade.
Mhm.
However, I feel like what they're doing is they're preparing Jade for that match. Um, I think in this particular aspect, I don't think Jade is just there just yet. Uh, it's in my opinion, she's gotten a lot better in the ring, but we all know that Bianca Belair is a top tier performer. On top of the fact that I'm sure they're taking their time with that because they want it to be on the level that they think it should be. So I think, and then the storyline within itself, I think it's doing a great job of showing the another aspect, another dimension of Naomi. We've always seen
Mhm.
her as like this flamboyant, bright, goody two shoes wrestler, and I think that kind of has run its course. It's kind of and I think at before she left, kind of like phased her out a little bit in the women's division. Didn't really give her any more substance or any more depth to be a believable character. So I think this match alone is not only going to put Naomi over, which I think her characters already do. I thought that promo she shot on SmackDown was done really well, but also is going to put Jade over and put her in that line to build her enough to get to. I believe they'll probably do her and Bianca next year for WrestleMania, which we all know that's what everybody's been wanting, and I think that match will deliver. This match is going to do a great job of putting Naomi's heel character over, and at the same time prepare Jade for a future match with Bianca. Like, I think they're WWE is doing a good job of preparing her, taking their time with her. I think they're doing a real good job of just taking their sweet time with Jade and building her up to where they want her to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like the out of the women's matches in WrestleMania 41, I feel like this one had, I think, some of the better story
Right.
because they kind of had the early setup with Jade kind of getting injured. You didn't really know who was who, and then you had the big reveal. And then also what they did at Elimination Chamber, I thought was really nice with Jade
Right.
coming in.
I didn't think about
Mm,
that because I thought the sell jobs with that. I thought Jay did a great job of really just giving it to Naomi, which obviously put that storyline over. And then with Naomi and Bianca's promos on SmackDown, I think it was a job well done.
yeah, and I think, and you kind of mentioned this too, with Naomi's kind of heel turn, I thought she's done it pretty well. I think she's been able to kind of make give us a good distinctive babyface and heel between the two. And
Yeah.
I like the angle too with Bianca, with her having to with her witnessing in the elimination chamber like Naomi getting beat up, and she kind of has to focus on, okay, hey, do I
Right.
win this, get this title opportunity, or do I try to protect and make amends between the both of them? So I think that dynamic is nice, and I don't think we're quite done with the Jade, Naomi, and Bianca dynamic,
Yeah.
but
It's especially if Bianca wins the title, we might be looking at Jay, Naomi, and Bianca at SummerSlam.
yeah. Yeah. So that being said, who do you think is going to win in this matchup with Jay Cargill and Naomi?
Oh, that's a very good question. I'm probably gonna go Jade. I would be very surprised if they let Naomi take this win, considering what they're trying to do with Jade. Um,
Yeah.
but if Naomi does win, I think it would be a lot better if Naomi cheated with a chair or exposed the turnbuckle. I think giving Naomi a clean win over Jade, I don't think it does anything for her. But I think Jade comes out on top on this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think Jade's going to win, but I do think, and you kind of highlighted this as well, if Bianca did win, that could get us to Jade and Bianca. I think this isn't the end of Bianca, Jade, and Naomi kind of being in the mix together because I like that dynamic. We'll jump actually
Right.
to the next men's match, which is Gunter, who is the world heavyweight champion, versus Jey Yeet Uso. I'll let you start it out and kind of give your thoughts on what you think. I mean, I'll tell you, we were talking about stories, and I think this one, at least up until recently, I would say the story it wasn't really there, and this matchup didn't really seem intriguing. But I'll
hmm
just leave that there. I'll let you kind of start things up.
I mean, I think we talked about this. I wasn't excited for this match at all. I don't. As far as Jay, I just don't think they've allowed him in any type of way to live up to kind of like the main event Jey Uso name. I think he's lost every big title match he's been in, with the exception of the Intercontinental title, in which he did not have very long. But Gunter's beat him twice, if I'm not mistaken, at least once. But I know Damian Priest beat him as well when he faced Damian for the world title. And their match at the Saturday Night Main Event was just kind of recent. And Gunther beat him, and then Jay, which I thought Jay winning the Royal Rumble was a good idea. I thought either him or LA Knight should came out on top, considering I think they were the hottest two going in. Wasn't really too hyped for this, because I think, especially in Jay's aspect, like I just think like Jay does too much of the same thing. I would like to see him in this match kind of open up his arsenal a little bit as far as move sets. We all know we're going to get for Gunther, but as far as everything Gunther has done, pretty much every match Gunther has been in, especially when he's performing against the top guys, has been amazing. I would just like to see more of Jay in this match, and
Mm.
what he can do, and this just the story. But like you said, up to this past week, with Jay's promo on Raw. This pretty much was kind of like, okay, where are we going with this? I can dig it. I'm glad it's not. I'm glad it's not the main event, because I don't think the build up was strong enough to be a main event. But again, it kind of takes away from the main event name of Jey Uso. So, but I got Jay in this one. I got Jay in this one.
There hasn't been, I don't think, a lot of like long term like storytelling. A lot of it's been kind of a
Right.
really quick kind of build up. But that being said, I think they have whoever thought of it, bringing in Jimmy into the picture and having Gunter just completely destroy him to like a bloody mess, was a good call. I think it definitely got people caught on emotionally, and then it gave Jay something a little bit more to fight for than just the title, which you
Right.
spoke of that promo that he did with Gunter. So they really, I think they made up for it from the emotional kind of storyline side. It could have been
Yeah.
a little more long term, but I think it gives more to the match where they can kind of tell a story. But I am
Right.
concerned with, which is, you mentioned it at the top, of Jey Uso, his last match at WrestleMania with Jimmy. Some would say they have kind of a limited move set. There's not really much they can do, so it's going to be interesting, like from a technical aspect, how much him and
Yes.
Gunter can actually do in the ring. So they're going to
Right.
have to play to the emotions a lot, I think, to make up
Right.
for the lack of like the technical side. But I think it could go either way. I do think Jey Uso will probably win because he can get like his WrestleMania moment and all
Right.
that. But then it also is like Gunter's back to back. He's pretty much lost at both WrestleManias, back
Yeah,
to
but
back.
he's right. But he won the triple threat match for the Intercontinental
Yeah,
title of years ago, and Gunther's won a lot. Gunther's winning
yeah,
percentage in WWE is
pretty
up
good.
there. I
Yeah,
think uh I think what they're gonna do is, though, I think they're gonna go with the whole Brock Lesnar technique. Gunther will probably beat him up pretty much the whole damn match, and then Jay will get a nice comeback. We'll see a couple of close falls, and then we'll see the big, you know, ending with Jay coming out on top.
I would think probably too. Jimmy might help him out, and then you could have like when Kofi won the title at the end, you get
Right.
him together with Jimmy kind of celebrating and
Right.
stuff like
But
that. It's a good shot.
according to my resources, Jimmy's still in the hospital. So
Oh, okay. Well, yeah,
yeah,
that's true too. Is he going to be actually medically clear after that horrible beating from Gunter?
yeah,
So only
yeah.
time will tell. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do actually in the match, like what the mechanics of the match are going to look like and how they set everything up. Who knows? Maybe it'll end up just being just a complete mangling and Gunter will just destroy Jay and it's a quick match. Who knows? Maybe it'll surprise everyone. They'll just do a shock. I don't know. We'll see. But
We are going to
either
see,
way,
and
they've gotten me
I
more
get that'll be the
intrigued.
first match. That'll be the first match on what night one.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I'm definitely more interested than I was when Jey Uso, won the Rumble, and I knew he wasn't going to challenge Cody Rhodes. I knew
Right.
John Cena, he was there, and there was going to be something, working out, and we'll definitely touch on that.
Right.
Yeah, that matchup, I wasn't sure because just visually, they're so opposite him and Gunter, but we'll see how it turns out. So moving
Mm-hmm.
along, we are going into the men's tag team. This one I feel like they kind of just put in there because you have to have, the tag team match, the tag team titles represented at WrestleMania. And this is going to be our current, I don't know if you even knew, who the tag team champs were on Raw. Because I'm not saying like just to like shade towards you. I think in general, I think it's been kind of quiet. But it's the War Raiders. They're the tag champs, and they're going against the, as Pat McAfee calls it, the New Day, which is our heel New Day for the titles. And the New Day could end up being, I don't know what number title this will be for them, a tag title, but they're up
I
there.
think they're on 11, maybe 11
Yeah,
or 12.
I knew it was probably double digits at this point.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
definitely
mean,
double digit.
so yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean,
You
Kofi
good?
and I mean, it's just I
What's
want to
his
be
fault?
positive. Like I'm trying to be positive and not, I don't want to. I like the War Raiders. Like they're good, but I just think you can only do so much with that gimmick, and I don't think they ever recovered from their WrestleMania match with the Street Profits, like the cinematic weird, like where they were like in a fighting in a dumpster or something like that. Like they got kind of
Have
silly
any
for a
of
little
us
bit.
recovered? Have any of us recovered from COVID?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I guess things really haven't. But them especially, like I don't think they went so far silly with them that it was hard to take them serious
Yeah,
as
man.
their like Viking
COVID
gimmick and
was a
everything.
wild time, man. COVID was a wild time. We had zombies and all that stuff going on.
They tried. But
Yeah.
anyhow,
People,
I
yeah.
do like what they've done with the New Day. I like them turning heel. They've got serious heat. People definitely don't like them. Doing the Big E angle with where you're thinking they're going to reunite, they end up trashing him. Like that whole thing was awesome.
That'd be dope
But
if Big
I'm
E
sure the match will
interfered.
be solid. That's what I'm thinking is that perhaps Big E will cost them the titles, and then we can actually get a proper kind of rivalry or conflict between Big E and the
Or
other New
Big
Day
E
members,
helps them win the titles.
or the turn, and then he's also that would be wild if he also actually turns heel.
Think about that. Think about that.
Yeah,
Because again, they threw Big E under the bus, claiming that, he never really got surgery. His girlfriend was more important than them. And Big E could look at it like, you know what, maybe I owe them. This is kind of like, his peace offering in a sense. There's not much I can do in the ring, but outside the ring, I can do this. And I think that would even bring more heat, to them. But again, I don't know, Big E's, as far as his neck going, I don't know if they're going to allow him to get involved in the sense that he's probably at some point going to have to take some bumps.
yeah. Like, is he cleared? Like, what's the word on that? Is he actually cleared? Do you know?
I doubt he's cleared because if he was cleared, I think, he
They
would
would have
already
done more with him.
yeah, he made his return. Unless, again, this is building up towards that maybe he is cleared and they're just waiting for a moment like this where it's like, boom.
Yeah, I mean yeah. You'll definitely make a shockwave if you do it at WrestleMania. So,
Right,
so yeah. I mean, I don't
right.
really. I mean, to be honest, I don't. I'm more intrigued with the Big E aspect in the New Day storyline than I am with them competing against the War Raiders. Like, I think
Yeah.
the New Day will probably win because they want to solidify them as heels. Not that they need the titles, but it'll, I think it'll help them. So I take the New Day. I think they're going to win it.
Yeah, I'm with that. I think putting the titles back on a New Day kind of will help that tag team division. As you said, I'm not big on the War Raiders. I'm not a hater of them. I really like them in
Yeah.
NXT. But we all know there's a big difference between NXT and then jumping up to to the main roster. They can perform in the ring. But I would like to see New Day hold the belts again and see kind of where they go with that. So I'll take the
Yeah.
New Day on this one.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think somebody, I think it's Triple H. He's got a thing for the War Raiders. Like the fact that they've survived like this far. I mean, I feel like I'm trashing them real bad. I take it back. They're good. They're good.
But
I don't dislike
but
them.
also right, but also too, it's the way they're brought in. We can even talk about the authors of pain in this aspect too. It's just like the way they were initially brought into WWE. They changed their name
Yeah,
to the
that.
Viking Raiders. Matter of fact, I don't even think it was the Viking Raiders at first. It was something else. Then they changed it to the Viking Raiders. And then I think that kind of was just like because everybody wanted War Raiders.
Yeah.
You know,
And we're
and
just
then
supposed to
Triple H
forget
takes
that.
yeah, Triple H takes over, and then Eric gets hurt, and then Ivar goes in by himself, which Ivar did pretty good as as a single wrestler, but kind of like I feel like when you do all that back and forth with somebody, with somebody, it just kind of like throws the funk off. Like I said, the Authors of Pain, I think they should have, Paul Ellery should have never left. I think he should have kept that going. But then,
Yeah.
as you see now, it's pretty much they been dead in the water every time they try to do something with them. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, again, no disrespect to the War Raiders. I really like you guys in NXT, but I'm just on the main roster right now. I'm just not feeling it. I think I would like to see the New Day with the belts.
Yeah, that tag team, the tag team lineup in their like group from NXT was excellent.
Hmm.
But yeah, so either way, it'll be interesting. Yeah, hopefully we can get some Big E involved and we get more from the heel New Day. So coming up here, we have a match that is pretty remarkable actually for someone who has only been maybe had 2 matches, 3 matches in their WWE career to already be in WrestleMania. He's someone who's taken the world by storm. Some would say for the better, some would say for the worse. And that is our match with Rey Mysterio versus the El Grande Americano. I mean, the guy is just taking the world by storm. He comes in, I mean, he comes from the Lucha, just such a history of Lucha legends and background. Chad Gable goes to search for this guy and he finds him and he brings him back. And now this guy's just, I mean, what is
The
there to say?
lineage. It's the
It's
lineage.
crazy.
It's like the lost soldier that everyone's been waiting for. We finally found him. It's like Luke Skywalker, on the island. We gotta go find. They went and found him and they brought him
Yes.
back. And here we go.
Yes. I mean,
Here we go.
I love his gear. I love his theme song.
Right.
uh, it's just the
Right.
video, the AI video, excuse me, the AI video package that they did for him when they
Right.
introduced him was amazing. I
Right. We got
know,
the greatest luchador. Got the greatest luchador in the world against the greatest luchador of all time.
right. I mean, and it's kind of a bummer that, Chad Gable doesn't seem like he's on any of the cards for this, but maybe he'll be supporting El Grande in his match. I like this. I think this goes back to it. There's still the tie-in with Chad Gable because when he
Right.
originally lost to Penta in Penta's debut, he was like,
Right.
I'm going to find the secrets to Lucha. And who doesn't know Lucha more than Rey Mysterio? He's a legend. So seeing these two together,
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
I think this was a good pairing. It kind of happened kind of quickly out of the blue, but it still makes sense because there was that back and forth originally with Gable
Right.
and the kind of the American wrestling versus the Mexican wrestling. I'm actually excited for this.
I am too. I am too. I want to see. I'm excited to see what Ray wears.
Hmm.
Ray's WrestleMania Mania gear or big time show gear is always cool to see. I wonder what he's gonna go with this year. And as long as Rey Mysterio can still go in the ring, I have no problem seeing Rey Mysterio. I'm not a big fan of that LWO thing. I'm glad it's kind of like phasing itself out. I just think that was just corny. But they did what they did with it. They made their best with it. But I'm just glad it's kind of phasing out. And they still find things with Ray. I really, really like what they're trying to do with the whole luchador thing, how they're trying to keep it in. No secret that for so many years they've been trying to replace Rey Mysterio, trying to find that next, luchador, which I think we all can agree that's going to be very, very difficult to do, considering that pretty much there is no cruiserweight division. They tried to revive it a couple years ago, pretty much went down the tank. Um, there'll probably never ever be a cruiserweight division again. I like how they are trying to reinvent that, and not really reinvent it, but bring it back. But also with the fact that they're bringing it back with people that we like, or people that are famous, people that can go in the ring. Think of Penta, Ray Phoenix, um, even Dominic. Like again, nobody can definitely question how good Dominic has gotten. But I really really like to do it. And then you go and get the greatest luchador in the world and El Grande. I mean, like, what more can you ask for? What more can
Yeah.
you ask for in this match?
And this also to me, maybe it's a stretch, but I feel like this harkens back to like the old school, like it's flipped though, because you know how like back in the day, Iron Sheik, it's very topical. Like back in the day, you had Iron Sheik versus Hogan. Hogan was like the American icon. Iron Sheik was
Yeah,
like the foreign adversary and everything. And I feel like they
yeah,
flipped the script where it's
right,
like it's no
right,
secret. Like where with them leaning
absolutely.
into the Gulf of America
Yep,
and them leaning into maybe a little bit of the Trumpism of the world, and you have like this American kind of troll and who's disrespecting Mexican culture. Like they're definitely playing into the times right
right,
now, which is
right.
reminiscent of what they used to do back in the day when you had the Iran conflict and you had the Iron
Yeah,
Sheik come in and he's saying death to
yeah,
America, whatever.
yeah.
um
America, ha, huh.
exactly. This is like the
Yeah.
flip side of it now, which I think
Right.
is a cool angle, and
Right.
I give props to WWE for actually having the stones to actually do that, like
Right.
doing the Gulf of America stuff and leaning into like the super American and like
Yes.
disrespecting Mexican culture. Like I think it's good.
Right. I think Grande should come out to Hulk Hogan's theme song and be escorted by Hulk Hogan. That really would put that would really
That's
like
actually amazing.
yo, with Hulk Hogan coming out with the real American beard in his hand or the shirt, like that. Oh man, that like or him with like a t-shirt stepping on Booker T or something, like that would be like
Yo, you're onto
amazing.
something there. That actually, I didn't. That didn't even cross my mind.
You
But
know how
that,
much? Oh man, you know how much heat that would get. I could just imagine the burritos that are gonna get thrown at them. That would be that is for like
yo,
this is
that's a good point.
man. That
I'm just gonna leave it on that. That's gonna get
I'm
people.
telling
Just
you.
think about that. People watching.
Well, who you got? Who you got before you leave it on there? Who you got?
Dang, it's hard to think of Ray losing.
I'm going
At
with Grande. I'm going with Grande on this. I see Ray putting him over. I don't see a reason why you would not put him over. Now, granted, Rey Mysterio has won the last two WrestleMania
yeah,
matches. Still kind of like why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't Dom go over in the first match they had? But hey, it's worked out for Dom regardless. But I don't. I really see that Grande going over on this one.
yeah. I could see it going both ways, but because I think they could lean into like the true luchador, and that's Rey Mysterio, so he wins. But I
Right.
could also see the heel winning. I'll take El Grande as well. I was thinking too
Okay.
maybe perhaps he gets unmasked this quickly and we find out like who he is truly, and they lean into that. But I don't know. We'll see. Either way, I'm excited. It's going to be theatrics, and I can't wait to see what they do. Hopefully, they do actually do something special with his entrance, El Grande's entrance.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's going to be exciting to see and entertaining. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
So
I'm looking forward to
we
Hulk
got
Hogan too.
yeah, I hope that comes true. That's a great suggestion. I didn't even think about that. That's perfect. If
Yeah.
they don't do it, they should be paying us. I'm telling you, man. We write this
Right.
stuff for them.
Hulk Hogan comes out with the American flag, waving like this. Oh man. And then like on the
Yeah.
Titantron screen it says the Gulf of America.
Yes, they have to do that. They have to do that.
Oh
Oh
man,
man, that's
super
gonna be
heat,
great.
super
That's gonna be
heat.
great. So we got three more on the card here for night one. Let's switch off to women, and the women's titles. This is for the women's championship. And this is Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, who, of course, won the 2025 Royal Rumble. And she challenged Tiffany Stratton. And again, I'll start here and say that, like, this match on paper, I've always wanted to see because it's no secret that Tiffany Stratton has stated that Charlotte's been an inspiration. You can kind of see it. If you see how she wrestles, you see the look. It's there. And then it kind of happened, and like we kind of knew the only way that this would happen would be through the Royal Rumble, I would think, because it was getting so
Right,
close. Where it's like Charlotte, if you want to see this match, then Charlotte's going to have to win the Rumble. So once she won the Rumble, people were kind of, I guess, that night she got a pop, but then later on, as it kind of sunk in, people really weren't receiving it well. But then when she finally challenged Tiffany, we were like, oh, okay. But then they kind of had their promos back and forth, and it's been a little awkward, a little off. And then now their most recent promo on SmackDown, people are like, this seems like this might be kind of like personal beef. Like maybe they don't want to work well, but like, they're trying to do it. And they kind of took some personal shots. So people don't know if this is actually a work, if maybe they're just doing this, to further the storyline, or
right.
what.
You want to make a bet again between a work and a shoot because you know how that turned out for you last time.
We won't get into that. That's fine. We don't have to do all that.
You sure? You sure?
Yeah, fine. But yeah, I was always on paper excited for this, and then like they had those promos, and I was like, But I still think it's going to be good. It's still excited. But anyhow, what do you think about their kind of the story thus far? And do you buy
Well,
into?
one,
Do you think it's
well,
personal?
well, one. I think there's gonna be a lot of receipts in this match. I wouldn't be
Okay.
surprised somebody gets their mouth busted open or their nose on a receipt. Uh, but I love it. I love it. Whether it's a work or whether it's a shoot, I like the fact that Tiffany. took a shot, a personal shot. I think you know, I think we're especially in the world of wrestling, well, the world in general, it's kind of like this line that, over the last couple of years, we're not going to get all political or anything, but there's a line you don't cross. There's a line you don't cross, and you don't throw personal shots, you don't get in people's, personal business. But if it's true that she went and did that on her own, I like it as long as Tiffany was willing to accept, what comes along with it. Because if you wasn't interested in this match, before that, you were definitely interested in that match now. And it was actually the first time that I saw Charlotte stump on the mic to the point when she made that Kaiser comment. It just sounded like um, like a high school argument where you had no comeback. You try to say the first thing that came to your mind, and I really, 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 really like it. I like the personal rivalry here. As you said, it's a match that I think everybody since Tiffany, especially started getting traction that everybody wanted to see. I think they both do the best moonsaults in the business.
Yeah.
No shot at EO, she's right up there. There's no secret. Charlotte to me is the greatest women's wrestler of all time. Tiffany is definitely an up and comer. Plus, she has the traction. She definitely has the fans behind her. She was so good as a heel that she became a face.
Yeah.
Charlotte's gonna do what Charlotte does. This boosted Tiffany's state even more. I love it. I love the personal shot. I love the personal shot that she threw there. Your personal life is gonna get dragged into wrestling. We've seen it many, many times with some of our favorite wrestlers, from CM Punk to Stone Cold to Roman Reigns, from The Rock, like Triple H, Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho's rivalry. There was a lot of personal shots thrown in that one. I love it. It makes more heat, makes it more believable, makes you dial in more. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's either way, whether it was intentional or not, the whole personal aspect just makes you focus in more on the match itself to try to see like, oh yeah, is
Right.
she trying to
Right.
sneak something in there? I
Yeah.
think it's and yeah, they're solid. They're both good. Charlotte at this point is a veteran, so she's going to be able to work through the match really well. And
Mhm.
Tiffany's athletic, and I think they're gonna pull out all the stops for this one. So as
Mhm.
far as predictions go. I think Tiffany's probably going to win. I think it's time for her to get her kind of WrestleMania moment as champion, and I think Charlotte will
Right.
put her over and let her have that moment. But then again, there is the other side of Charlotte getting close to her dad's record as champion. I know that's something that's in her sights, but I don't think it's quite time for that yet. So I'm going Tiffany.
Right. But I can definitely see a trilogy here. With
Yeah.
these two, I think they have a big enough heat, with each other that I think that, they can stretch this out for three pay-per-views. Now, whether or not they can do that, we don't know. It is funny how Charlotte Flair is kind of following in her dad's footsteps in the ring and outside the ring. It's funny, but it's not funny. But
Oh,
like
yeah.
three, three divorces already?
Yeah, that's what.
Jeez.
Yeah, that I'm telling you, that Tiffany Stratton, man, she went right for the
For the
jugular
juggler.
there with that one.
Yes. Oh.
Um,
Mm.
so yeah,
Yeah,
it was
you
a little
can't,
awkward,
right,
but it still stung.
and you can't blame Andrade's English on this one.
this guy, this guy with the English. I knew that was gonna come up.
Oh man,
So
he's trying, he's trying.
yeah, yeah, it'll be a great match, and all these like again, all these matches like they're all talented. I think right now
Right,
WWE's in a really good place with talent, so everybody's gonna do well. I think from a technical aspect. It's just a
right,
matter of story. How does the story
right.
fit into that, and how does it make it even that much more compelling? So, next up
I
here
have a
we have
question.
another.
Hold on,
Yeah.
but real quick on that, I have a question for you. Do you think, and I'm just throwing speculation out there, just a question, considering the Charlotte's personal stuff, do you think that now maybe in the locker room, maybe Charlotte's starting to get some heat? Sometimes when they go through these things, sometimes they take it out on the locker room, or they change, they start getting heat in the locker room, other people start feeling some type of way, and then it comes out on the mic. She's going through some things. She's going through her third divorce. Obviously, your personal life can affect your working life. Then maybe back in the locker room now, then maybe Charlotte's kind of a little on the edge here, kind of a little toxic in the locker room, and it's kind of getting to everybody else. And then on top of that, she comes back from an injury, she wins the Royal Rumble, first woman to ever win it twice. When you look at Charlotte Flair, you think of Triple H, John Cena, people who continually was rewarded. Not saying, they didn't deserve it. However, I'm sure we can make arguments about how many times they should not have won. Here she comes back from an injury. Granted, as you said, the talent pool in the women's division is top tier. It definitely could have went to somebody else, but then again, it goes to Charlotte, and she comes back, and here you go.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know where she goes from here, honestly. If
Right,
she does lose, where they go from here, and that's the intrigue too with WrestleMania. It's not just the culmination and kind of the ending or wrapping up of these storylines. It also sets the path forward for future pay-per-views, for future or PLEs, sorry, or
right,
future episodes and shows and stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
right.
It's gonna
But
be
do
very
you think
interesting.
Charlotte's toxic? That's the question. Do you think Charlotte's a little toxic now?
Yeah, I'm avoiding the answer.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, you're
Uh,
avoiding that.
no, I don't think. I don't think. No,
Okay.
I think she
So
still
you
has good
So you think that
backstage.
shot? Yeah, you think that shot just came out of nowhere? Then that's my thing. I don't. Again, you
You're
know,
saying someone perhaps planted that or told her, kind of led her
I think
to saying that.
I think Tiffany took that shot because of some backstage stuff. That's
Mm.
my thing. I think that was a true shot she threw because Charlotte's backstage thinking she's still, that woman. She got pulled around here and it's kind of
Kind
just
of
like
bring her
throwing that
down to
around.
earth. Yeah, bring her
Yeah,
down to earth a little bit.
ab- absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could humble her. No, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think she's. I think she's still in good standing
Okay.
backstage. I think though she did actually maybe didn't see the full potential of like Tiffany Stratton to begin with when they
Right,
maybe posed this idea of her
right,
having a match. I think she wanted Tiffany to kind of earn her kind of
yeah,
respect, and I think
right.
Tiffany's on the path to doing that.
Right.
I
Or
think
maybe it was one of
definitely,
those things that they discussed, and she was like, "You mind if I say this?" And she was like, "No, like I prefer you not to." And Tiffany was just like, I'll take a shot out there, see what happens."
but now that she said it, I think Charlotte's like, okay, all
I'm
right,
telling you,
you
there's gonna
went
be some
there,
receipts.
yeah,
There's gonna be some receipts in this match.
yeah. So yeah, it'll be. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm excited for the majority of these matches for night one. It's gonna be pretty solid. This next one here, another championship match, moving to the men's division. We have LA Knight, who's the United States champion. He will be facing the Samoan
Ah,
Werewolf.
two.
That's right, Jacob Fatu. I'm looking forward to it. Um, the
Let's
matchup,
go.
like the dynamic of them is very different. If you look at their characters and things, they're also too like both guys who have made an impact outside of WWE and then have come in and really shined. And now they get that opportunity on the biggest stage. I know LA Knight's already had, his WrestleMania matches, but, Jacob Fatu gets his first WrestleMania match and it's a title match. So
Right,
that's big for him. It's already kind of started, but he's starting to distinguish himself amongst that bloodline crew and just all the bloodline family members, that whole line.
right,
Like he's really
right.
establishing himself as someone who's someone to reckon with. I'll just jump right into the prediction. It's actually tough for me to say who I think would take it because both of them are pretty over. But I think Jacob Fatu will probably win this actually. Because I think LA Knight, I think it's time for him to start getting into the bigger title picture. Maybe that's the IC title, maybe right into the World Heavyweight Championship. I think him losing will give him kind of another route to kind of get out of that, I guess, mid-level, mid-tier championship area, and then Jacob
Right.
Fatu can kind of start that path, and then it gives him kind of with the whole solo aspect and the bloodline aspect, he can kind of shift a little bit ahead in the pack.
Yeah.
See the reference there, Wolfpack, pun intended. He can kind of shift ahead in the pack and now be the leader, with the title, and you go from there. So I'm
Yeah.
taking, I think I'm gonna take Jacob Fatu on this one.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think that would kind of put him now, I have the title, now I run the show type feel. Or they can cost him the title and then that goes there. I think Jacob again is in the same element as Dominic is becoming. Tiffany, like your heel is too good, their fans are not starting to like you. Um, when he was destroying Braun Strowman, the fans were just cheering out their mind. And I was one of them because, how I feel about Braun Strowman, no offense to Braun Strowman. I am a huge fan of Jacob Fatu. Huge fan. I will be wearing his shirt, Saturday, for their match. He is, probably one of my favorite wrestlers right now before he even came into wrestling. I mean, into WWE. There's nothing that man cannot do. There's nothing that man can cut a promo. That man can perform in the ring. That man could be a great heel. He could be a good baby face, not like a baby, kind of like a Randy Orton baby face, where he's still, fans are cheering him, but he's still lethal. I'm super excited that he's getting this chance. I think they will deliver. The question is, where does LA Knight go from here? I know you said it kind of, maybe that gets him out of the mid tier level up to the top, but does it though? I just feel like they're gonna pass over LA Knight at some point. I just don't see LA Knight winning the WWE title unless he shifts over to Raw. It seems like they're
Hmm.
playing, they're switching the world title more than they're gonna switch the WWE title. The world title may be more for, more guys to kind of come up and get their shot at, at being a world champion, where the WWE title is going to kind of be that title that whoever's holding it is going to be the face of the company, is going to have it for a long period of time. I just think if you're going to give LA Knight the world title, I think you should already have given it to him. I just don't see where he goes after this. He might be one of those that might get frustrated the fact that he just can't get to where he wants to be. He's a U.S. champion. He might go and become the Intercontinental champion. Who knows? Where does LA go from there? But regardless, I'm not a big LA Knight fan, so part of me is like, oh well, I'm a big Jacob Fatu fan, so let's get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, going back to it, tons of talent. The depth is crazy with talent. So I think, yeah, technically the match is going to be good. Really, I don't know if there's really much story there, but they did set up like the qualifying kind of matches to make him like
Right.
the number one contender. So I respect that, and I think that'll be solid. So,
And I
yeah,
won't, I won't, I won't be surprised if they add to that match
I'm sure
on Friday.
I'm sure Solo too will probably get involved. There'll be some spot with
Yes.
him and Tomatonga as well.
Yeah.
Can't count them
Yeah.
out. So,
Right.
all right, well, we've reached a point where we are now at our main event of night one, and that is our triple threat match between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and the best in the world, CM Punk. And you remember earlier where I said that the stories, there wasn't a lot of long-term storytelling, but I think I think both main events for night one and two is the exception. I
Right.
think they've been planting the seeds for this for a while. They've been able to weave in things that have just kind of raised the stakes. What I think of recently is kind of weaving in the Paul Heyman aspect to all of this as of recently with CM Punk and his relationship, and then obviously Roman Reigns' relationship with him being the wise man for the bloodline, or for the tribal chief, I should say. Or I should say, actually,
Yeah.
the only tribal chief
Okay. Because
or
you've been
original
kind of
tribal chief. There's both.
right. Right.
He's
Because
the
you've
only
been
and
kind of
original.
because you've been kind of disrespectful the last couple of years when it comes to that.
Well, you say
Yeah.
disrespectful. I say tomato, tomato. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But anyway,
you don't acknowledge the tribal chief, so it's probably very
well,
disrespectful.
I wouldn't say all that. Look, hey, it's not about me, all right? I'm a
You do
humble guy.
know,
It's
you do
about,
know it. You do know in ancient times you would be probably, beheaded because your
wow,
disloyalty to your tribe.
that was a big jump. He just went
It
straight to
was.
beheading.
Well, hey,
Not even jail time. I'm just straight.
no, what jail time? This is severity.
Okay.
Severity of the situation here. It's
Okay.
treason. This day they would call it treason.
Okay.
Like you were a big Roman Reigns fan and putting your finger up, and that's the tribal chief, and then all of a sudden Cody comes along and it's like, I want Cody to win, and everything else, like, and then you wouldn't stand up last year. You didn't stand up. When he came back, he wasn't standing up. SummerSlam, you didn't stand up and acknowledge. And
That's
then
not.
this year, I'm pretty sure you're gonna do the same thing. You're not gonna stand up and acknowledge. Just like I said, disrespectful.
I mean, but what is a tribal chief without his tribe? I mean, Roman's kind of
Well,
just
we
been
are
rolling
all
solo.
we are all his tribe because
Oh, okay.
he's our tribal chief. Well, he's
Oh,
my
okay.
tribal chief. He's not yours, obviously. You
Well,
know
we won't,
anymore.
we won't get hung up on the nuance about that. Look, I'm a humble guy. Let's, don't worry about me. Let's just keep it on the main key players in this, because there's no proof really that I never stood up for him. So we really don't have
No
proof.
proof. I
No.
got video. Remember
Well,
WrestleMania last year. Remember the pictures I took and all that.
nah, nah.
No, no, you don't
We'll let the
remember?
people decide. Do you guys believe this? I don't know. It seems like John's just trying to. He tries to
Well,
mess with me from time to time.
just look at the guy. Just look at the guy. You can just tell. Just ask him.
Okay,
No,
you're
just
telling
yeah,
them to
just look
just
at the
look
guy.
at me.
Ask him. Just ask him in the comments. Just ask him in the comments. He'll He'll tell you. And if he tries to
Yeah,
go around your questions because he's lying. So just know
yeah,
that. Just like when I asked him about Charlotte Flair being toxic, yeah, he tried to blow past that
I did.
question.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
tried to be
So
crafty there.
yeah.
Anyhow, this match, well, first of all, not a title match as the main event. So that's something worth saying. I think obviously you don't need a title to try to enhance this storyline. I mean, these are like arguably the best to ever do it, I'll say. Especially in Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk too. What they've been able to do with him since, being gone and then coming back, obviously after 10 years, I don't think he's really missed a beat. I think his matches for the most part have been good, also considering his age. He is getting up there.
Hmm.
Not to say that he's crazy old, but I mean, so I think he's held his
That's
own.
crazy.
Obviously,
That's crazy.
yeah, he's held his own on the bike, which is good. And yeah, what's there to say? I mean, it's gonna be great. You got Paul Heyman's obviously gonna be ringside. There's that whole aspect. You don't know what he's gonna do. You don't know, who he's really pulling for here. It's gonna be a masterclass. I mean, Roman Reigns never disappoints. The guy, yeah, he's one of the best. He's one of the best. I'm saying, I'm getting his flowers. He's
No, no,
literally
no, no,
the best.
no. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You said one of the best, then you said the best. So
he's I mean, I'd say he's the best right now in pro wrestling. I think that's right. That's fair. I would say.
I would say, would you say? If
Yeah, I
that's the
would.
question. You
I
would
would
say.
say. I would
Would say. So
say.
you acknowledge the fact of his greatness, but you can't acknowledge the tribal chief.
I mean, that's a whole
There he
nother.
goes again with that. I mean,
You're talking a whole. It's just a whole nother element there. But anyhow,
okay.
um, this match, yeah, I think the big thing is Paul Heyman, what he's going to do. There's going to be some good spots, some good false finishes. And I'm excited about it all, but this one
Right.
especially, it's going to be solid. It's going to be cinema, as the kids say it
Right.
nowadays. As far as who I think is going to win, I really have no clue. I would tend to lean that perhaps CM Punk will win, so he can get like his full moment, and because he's been talking about
Right.
being the main event, and and Paul Heyman kind of told him
Right.
like you finally get your main event. I think CM Punk might
Right.
win, but I think it could go either way, honestly.
Right. Right. I would also admit the fact that I was not excited about this match at all. They wanted Rock and Roman. We wanted that
Oh yeah,
last year, didn't get it. I think they're kind of just like, okay, then, we give it to them this year. They're just going to just kind of be forced from last year. So let's go with this. I was initially like, not excited about this at all. However, I did not think about the fact that the story they were going to put over this. I love the fact how they dated back to Paul Heyman's promise, with the relationship with CM Punk and Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, CM Punk with Paul Heyman. I think they've done a fantastic job of building this storyline. I agree with you. I'm going for my tribal chief, of course, as you already know. That's who I'm going with. However, if I'm not being biased, I do agree. I think CM Punk comes out on top. I think Paul Heyman will have something to do with that. And I think they play into this with Roman and CM Punk probably going into SummerSlam. And I think this will phase out Seth Rollins. I would not be shocked if Seth Rollins comes out on top, in which kind of like CM Punk and Roman Reigns kind of cost each other the situation. But as you said, in me saying that alone goes back to what you said. You really don't know. You really don't know. To think of Seth Rollins as an afterthought in this match is kind of like, yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Like they all have a play in this. They all have a play in this. It makes sense either way that you go. So I am excited for this. I think, as you said, the spots in this match. I think the storytelling in this match is going to be phenomenal. You got four guys, I'm sorry, including Paul Heyman, who do a great job of telling a story inside the ring, making it believable. We saw the ending last year, with Seth getting hit with the chair from Roman, while Seth had the shield outfit on, dating back to when he screwed over Roman Reigns in the Shield. So I am definitely going to be invested in this match and really looking forward to the spots and the storytelling these guys are going to put up. And on top of it, I'm going to give a hand right now to Paul Heyman, who I think alongside Drew McIntyre has been the MVP leading up to WrestleMania this year. Both of them have done a tremendous job of storytelling and putting over so many storylines and wrestlers in the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know. But that being said, I don't know if you said who you got. Did you
I
say
did.
who
I
you
said,
got?
of course, I got the tribal chief. I got the tribal chief.
Oh, okay, so you do got Roman.
I got Roman. Unbiasedly, I say Punk wins.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
we're on the same
unbiased.
page on that one.
If I'm not being, if I'm, not being biased, which I can be, I say CM Punk wins. However, again, I can't go against my tribal chief because that would not be loyalty. Yeah.
I
See
respect
what
it.
I,
I respect
see
the
what I,
I do
see,
respect
so
the
what I,
dedication.
so
Yeah.
what I did there?
Oh yeah. I respect it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
respect it. That wraps up our night one match card, and I think overall we're definitely due for an exciting time, an entertaining time. Interested to see what the I'm actually interested to see what the set looks like for WrestleMania. Obviously, if you didn't know, it's going to be in Las Vegas this year at Allegiant Stadium. And I'm interested to see, which we touched on, some of the entrances as well. I'm sure they're going to have some elaborate entrances for each of our matches, and that's always fun to see with
Right.
WrestleMania. But John, I think what I'm going to do here is actually, because we had such a jam-packed episode, and I don't want to cut you short with your thoughts. I think we're going to break this
Right.
into two parts. So I think
Sounds good to
we'll
me.
leave them on a cliffhanger, and
Right.
we'll post our night two episode and all of our thoughts on night two in another full episode, so that way they can get us for the full amount of time. We don't cut any corners, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So
You
John,
right.
I want to thank you for tuning in and joining me to discuss wrestling. It's always a pleasure. Like I said, I wouldn't be into this as much really without you. You're kind of the guy that kind of sparked the interest, and we've been able to have this continue our bond further with our love of wrestling.
Right.
And I will
I mean,
always appreciate that.
give yourself some credit too, man. I don't think I would be excited for for these pay-per-views again. It's like anything in life. It's always better when you get to enjoy it with someone, and someone you can be excited with something with. Again, I would say when people grow up, they think like, oh, wrestling is just for kids, and people face that. Understandably, life happens or just interests change or whatever. So, for a little bit, I was on my, kind of on my own there, but then, when you came back, your excitement went through the roof, and it's kind of just brought back, my excitement. Where again, doing stuff like this and having conversations every week about what we see, and on top of the fact how good WWE has gotten, no disrespect to Vince McMahon, who, obviously, brought us all this, but when Triple H kind of took over and the whole merger happened and everything, the realism, came back. The stories, that now I think the big part of the Attitude Era was, there were obviously, the risks that were taken, and obviously there would never be another Attitude Era again because of the risks they take to certain things that they said, which, you can't really do so when those things will take over. But at the same time, it was real. It was real. It was something we can look at, invest in. I've gotten messages even from some of my friends who are around our age. They're like, "Yo, man, I am buying into this, man. I haven't been hyped about wrestling in how long?" So again, kudos to you. I really appreciate, your company in this. It excites me. It's like a big celebration every time these pay-per-views come up, but specifically the showcase of the Immortals, one of my favorite times of the year. Like, it was on my birthday weekend this year. I am super excited. I'm ready to go. I am hyped. Let's get it. So, again, I appreciate you as well, and thank you for having me as always.
Yeah, and my pleasure. And yeah, hopefully we can bring more people into the fold. So hopefully, if you listen to this and you want to get into it, there is no better time than now to jump into wrestling. Even though we say WrestleMania is kind of the culmination of the year, that shouldn't stop
Right.
you from watching the show. If you're new, still check it out. You'll be introduced to cool characters, and you get to see kind of them at their kind of highest form once it comes to WrestleMania, because they're trying to make this very special and memorable. So
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. But
So
before we go though, we always got
yeah.
to give a nice quick shout out to the women of NXT. So thank you girls for all that you do and for all that you look
Yes.
like. We really appreciate you. Yeah,
Yes. And NXT, we don't want to, yeah, we definitely don't want to slight NXT. They're doing big stuff there. You'll have Takeover, or maybe Stand and Deliver.
I'm pretty sure Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, so that'll be happening as well, WrestleMania weekend, or leading up to
Yep.
WrestleMania weekend, and definitely don't sleep on
Yep.
that. Check out NXT. We do want to give them their flowers as well.
Absolutely, Stephanie. You're the reason why I want to learn Spanish.
There you have it. He's a fan. I think we'll end it there. Again, thank you for joining this special edition of the Two Boos podcast, and we will see you soon. And enjoy your WrestleMania showcase of the Immortals. Peace out, y'all.